The landscape of the NFC West is about to shift in a way that nobody expected, but everyone in this building has been quietly whispering about for weeks. We are talking about a seismic move that could redefine the Rams' defense for the next 5 years and give Matthew Stafford exactly what he needs to chase one more ring before he calls it a career. You need to stay tuned because the details coming out of New York and Los Angeles right now are absolutely wild. Before we dive into the specific names and the cost of this blockbuster deal, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video to stay updated. Dexter Lawrence has officially notified the New York Giants that he wants out, and my sources confirm the Los Angeles Rams have immediately moved to the front of the line as a primary suitor for the all-pro defensive tackle. This is not just a standard trade inquiry. This is a calculated pursuit by Les Snead to finally fill the massive void left by Aaron Donald. Since Donald walked away, the interior of this defensive line has lacked that singular force that demands a double team on every single snap, and Lawrence is arguably the only human being on the planet capable of replicating that gravity right now. The Giants are in a state of total rebuild, and Lawrence has grown frustrated with the direction of the franchise, leading to this formal trade request that has sent shockwaves through the league office today. For the Rams, the logic is flawless because pairing a monster like Lawrence with the rising star Kobe Turner would instantly create the most terrifying interior duo in the entire NFL. We are talking about a defensive front that would allow the linebackers to roam free and the secondary to play more aggressive man coverage. However, bringing in a player of this caliber is never cheap, and the Giants are not going to let their best defensive asset walk away for just a couple of draft picks. They want established talent back in return to jumpstart their own defensive transition. The price tag for a superstar like Lawrence is going to be steep, and it involves moving a player that many Rams fans have grown to love over the last 2 seasons. The front office is currently weighing the cost of short-term dominance versus long-term roster stability, and the names being discussed in these early negotiations are going to stir up a lot of emotions within the locker room. If the Rams want to maximize the closing window of Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, they know they have to be aggressive, even if it means saying goodbye to a foundational piece of their recent defensive identity. The talks are intensifying quickly as the trade deadline looms closer, and the specific player the Giants are demanding in return might be the ultimate deal-breaker for this entire blockbuster scenario. Do you think trading for a superstar like Lawrence is worth losing a young starter? This is the ultimate all-in move for Les Snead. Drop a comment below and let me know if you would pull the trigger on this trade right now. Don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive Rams updates. Byron Young is the name that has surfaced as the centerpiece of what the New York Giants are asking for in exchange for Dexter Lawrence. My sources indicate that the Giants view Young as a high-upside edge rusher who fits their new defensive timeline perfectly, especially since he is still on his rookie contract. From the Rams' perspective, this creates a massive dilemma because Young has been a revelation for this defense, providing consistent pressure and high motor play since he arrived. However, the financial reality is that Young is approaching a high-value contract extension soon, and the Rams' front office is privately concerned they might not be able to afford his projected market value alongside a massive new deal for someone like Lawrence. By moving Young now, the Rams would be effectively choosing an elite interior presence over edge depth, betting that they can replace that outside production elsewhere. This is where the emergence of Josiah Stewart becomes critical to the entire conversation. Internal reports from practice suggest that Stewart has been developing at an accelerated rate, showing flashes of being a high-end rotational piece who could potentially step into a starting role if Young is traded away. The coaching staff is incredibly high on Stewart's raw athleticism and work ethic, believing that his ceiling might be high enough to mitigate the loss of Byron Young in the long run. It is a classic Les Snead gamble, trading a known valuable commodity for a generational superstar while relying on young, unproven depth to fill the gap. The Rams have done this before with success, but the stakes have never been higher given the current state of the NFC. The Giants are playing hardball because they know the Rams are desperate to contend while Stafford is still healthy. Negotiating the draft pick compensation on top of Young is the current hurdle, but the framework of the deal is centered squarely on the young pass rusher headed to New York. The impact of this move would be felt immediately in the locker room, as Young is a respected figure, but the chance to land a player like Lawrence only comes around once in a decade. The decision to pursue Dexter Lawrence reflects a much larger strategy within the Rams' front office that fans need to understand. Les Snead and Sean McVay are operating with a clear sense of urgency because they recognize that Matthew Stafford's competitive window is not going to stay open forever. By targeting Lawrence, they are acknowledging that while the offense is championship caliber, the defense needs a transformative anchor to survive the postseason against high-powered offenses like the Lions or the 49ers. History shows us that teams with elite interior defensive line play, like the recent Super Bowl-winning Eagles and Chiefs, have a massive advantage when the game is on the line. If the Rams finalize this trade, it signals to the entire league that they are officially in F-them-picks mode once again, prioritizing immediate impact over future draft capital. The move would likely force a total schematic shift for defensive coordinator Chris Shula, allowing him to be much more creative with blitz packages because Lawrence requires so much attention in the middle. Beyond the field, this move has massive implications for the Rams' salary cap management over the next 3 seasons. Bringing in Lawrence means committing a significant portion of the cap to the defensive line, which might result in difficult departures in other areas of the roster next offseason. However, the Rams have always been masters of manipulating the cap to fit their stars. If Josiah Stewart can indeed step up and provide even 70% of the production that Byron Young leaves behind, this trade becomes a massive win for Los Angeles. The future of the franchise is being bet on the idea that one dominant force in the trenches can elevate 10 other players. We are looking at a potential defensive revival that could catapult the Rams back into the top tier of Super Bowl contenders. The front office is prepared for the backlash of trading a fan favorite like Young, because they believe the end result will be a parade in Southern California. Everything rests on these final negotiations and whether the Giants are willing to bend on the additional draft compensation required to make the numbers work for both sides. This trade request by Dexter Lawrence is the golden ticket the Rams have been waiting for since the day Aaron Donald hung up his cleats. It represents more than just a roster move. It is a statement of intent that the Los Angeles Rams are not content with just being a playoff team. They want to be the team that nobody wants to see in January. Losing a player like Byron Young will hurt, and seeing him thrive in New York would be a tough pill to swallow, but the potential of a Lawrence and Turner duo is simply too great to ignore. This is the kind of move that defines an era of football and cements a general manager's legacy. As an insider following this team every day, I can tell you that the energy in the building changes the moment a deal like this starts to look real. It gives the veterans hope and puts the rest of the league on notice. We are watching the Rams front office pull the lever on a high-stakes gamble that could lead directly to another Lombardi trophy. But I want to hear from the Ramley on this one. Is Dexter Lawrence the missing piece that guarantees a deep playoff run, or are we giving up too much of our future by trading away Byron Young? The debate is heating up, and your voice matters in this conversation. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the second this trade goes official, because things are moving very fast behind the scenes. Hit that like button if you want to see Lawrence in a Rams uniform this season. This is Jordan Rodriguez, and I will be right here with the latest updates as they break. The pursuit for greatness never stops in Los Angeles, and neither does our coverage of every major move inside the building. Stay tuned for the next update because this story is far from over.